the assignment stuff. The ARRL 605, except they won't take an ARRL 605 because it has the ARRL logo on it. This is theirs. It's the exact same form that's been approved by the National Council of VEs. Their CSCE is a little different, but it still is self-explanatory. I'll pass this around. Those of you that have been VEs that have corrected tests, you know we line through the elements that they didn't earn. Because this is only a tech session, when you're processing this, and we're going to process it ahead of time, unlike what Gary does for the VE team. We're going to process this ahead of time. We're going to sign all 3 lines, and we're going to line out where it says element 3 and element 4, but we're not going to put a mark in element 2 and leave it blank, okay? If the applicant fails, I will shred this, and it's not going to be distributed to the applicant or to anybody else. It doesn't even go to W5YI. It is invalid because they didn't pass. But we don't know that until the maestro hands it to the declarer, who's going to decide whether they passed or not. One of the things that the declarer is going to do is she's going to write in the upper right corner of the CSCE the number of correct answers. Because everybody who passes wants to know how well they did. Well, we can't tell them which ones they didn't get right or which ones they didn't get wrong, but we can tell them how many they got right. And if they fail, we have a separate sheet that is a condolence letter that advises them that sadly they didn't pass and they got this many questions correct and it required this many. Yes, sir?
Are we going to allow repeat test taking?
No. I do not have, at this point the answer is no. One of the challenges has been, did they miss it by 1 or did they miss it by 5? If they missed it by 5, well, that's just not going to happen. If they miss it by 1, you know, if they beg, then I guess we can do it. One of the challenges at hand is they need to pay another fee.
Yeah.
Means we got to open up the cash register again, issue another receipt, and I really don't want to do that at this first session. So I really feel the answer is no. Now, if someone wants to come in and take a test only, which we haven't advertised, without taking the class, I'm going to have to decide on that when I get there. We haven't offered that. You know, we're still obviously getting our feet wet over here. But on the failure letter, it's going to tell them how many how many questions they got right. And on the back of that is going to be a list of exam offering clubs around the Bay Area. There's probably about 15 or 20 different exam sessions, who the club is and what they are, and a contact info. There's no dates on that, okay? And Andrea's going to give them one of those, or she's going to tear off the top copy, and she's going to hand it to a runner. And that runner is going to take it outside, because they're going to all be directed outside after they turn in their paper. They're going to turn in their exam sheets. They're going to turn in their the graphics sheet. They're going to turn in their their calculator, their pencils, the highlighter. All that's going to get turned in. Let's just zip up there.
Are they using the door that they came in?
Yes, we're going to send them right out that door. We're going to set up that same table concept that we used for cashier, we're gonna repurpose that now. There's gonna be 3 trays on that table. One's gonna be the questions, one's gonna be the answer sheet, and one's gonna be the graphic sheet. And they're labeled, exams, graphics, answer sheet, and there's a big cardboard box for all the hardware. Okay, and we're gonna collect it from them.
Can we count on everyone getting a calculator?
Yes.
So the one that we say that we want it back?
Yes, well, if they say I brought my own and they don't want one, that's fine. Hey,
Well,
listen,
what I'm
it cost
thinking.
us $1. If we don't get it back, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Okay,
Everybody be required to take a calculator?
Yeah,
So that
that's-
at the end, when you hand them in, you'll have a count that they came back?
I have nothing against that. We can ask them to take one. Some
Yeah.
people say, I don't need it.
see, that's okay, but here it is anyway,
Well,
because
to
you're gonna
turn it-
need it to turn it back in.
So, we're not gonna necessarily have them fill in these boxes. Andrea's gonna do that when she reviews everything. We as signers, we're gonna make sure we can read everything that's up here. We're gonna make sure it's signed and dated. We're gonna make sure it's got an FRN or a social security number. They don't have to have an email address. I already have it, so it's not a problem there. But if you can't read their name, or you can't read their address, then we need to address it during the day, okay? We will set it aside and call it a redo, and someone will go from the signing tables, and we'll track that person down in the classroom and say, look, I can't read the street numbers of your address. We need you to correct it. If we need to draw a line through it, unlike what we do with ARL, make them start over again, we're not gonna do that. If we need to correct the number or something there, then we'll just do it right next to it. Down at the bottom where we're gonna sign it, remember this sheet has to get signed whether they pass or fail, because this gets turned in. So we're gonna sign this thing in advance, we're gonna sign the CSCE in advance. And this says, in its blurry writing, it says, print the first VE's name. I can't tell you how many times I began to sign it. So I wrote my name in the last half of that box. The next one says VE number. The next one says call sign. No, wait, last. Well, this one doesn't say call sign. On here it says call sign, on the ones we're using. Okay, you're gonna put your call sign down, says signature and date. This is an old one from 2008. Okay, it was just a slide that was prepared.
Yeah, the second box says.
The second box says call sign? Okay, the thing they added is the VE number. The graphics and a box for the, all the hardware. So when they come out of the room, you don't let them take more than one step into that room with that test in their hand. And you immediately take it from them and put it into those boxes. I need one person who's not on this list of 10. Empty all the trash cans. We need to put all the tables back, kind of like what you see on that cover sheet, the way it was. Put the chairs back in. Actually, we're going to put the chairs on top of the tables. And then we're going to run the wide dry mop up and down the whole floor in both rooms. And then we're going to mop the floor with a wet mop. There's only one mop. If someone wants to bring a mop from home, you're more than welcome to. We can share the bucket. It'll get done twice as fast, but we have to wash the main floor, the side room, and the kitchen. Okay, all the counters in the kitchen have to get wiped down. It all material has to get returned, or else we will not be allowed to use it again. It is imperative that not two of us end up doing all of that. Okay?
Just so you guys know, Alice and I will take care of the kitchen as